got Rob here on the line. Rob's one of my Consulting Tycoon members. Had the good fortune of catching up and meeting him for the first time in person at the recent Fast Web Formula event. And I was just blown away with some of the results he's been getting in his consulting business. So I wanted to grab him on the line and do a quick interview just so he can tell us what he's been up to and how it's been working. So welcome, Rob. Great to have you on the call.
Hey, Carl. How are you?
I'm doing good, mate. I'm buzzing after the event. Got a ton of good ideas to implement and been really, really busy. How about you?
Absolutely, yeah. My heart rate hasn't dropped at all since Sunday.
Awesome. I could see the fire in your eyes when we were chatting, like all these new ideas bouncing around your head and all the different ideas you could, leverage those ideas into money.
That was just the speed of the ideas, and it was friction.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so just for the viewers and for me, I don't know a great deal about your background. What were you doing before you got into the consulting business?
I was an engineer, kind of technician. I worked for a reputable satellite installation company,
right.
Climbing on roofs. Summer in Queensland, it gets really, really hot, so I just had to figure out in my own head there must be a better way to earn a living than this.
Yeah, right.
So I suppose it was last April really that things started to change for me. I went to an internet seminar and I met one of your fellow friends, James Schramko.
Yep.
And it kind of got my head working around the internet and how internet is the future and how money can be made online and actually helping other people to make money online.
Awesome.
And that was really where I kind of stumbled across you after that with the thought of internet marketing. Wasn't really the avenue where I wanted to go. I liked consulting, I liked helping people. And it's kind of started from there really.
Awesome. Yeah, kind of a similar thought process to me where, I like the marketing side of things, I like helping people and all that, but I didn't really have like a niche that I was passionate about, so consulting just seemed to be a pretty good fit.
Yep.
Yeah. So, okay, what actually made you join Consulting Tycoon? What was the whole thought process that went behind that?
The whole thought process, I suppose for me was, I tried the affiliate marketing thing and it really wasn't happening for me. And I kind of started going down one of these rabbit holes where it was just getting darker and darker and I was getting a bit more anxious and a bit more desperate really, and the desperation was starting to show. So I kind of pulled myself out of there, looking in the forum, found yourself, read your script, read your really long sales letter, which I've never read a long sales letter in my life. I get to like the third line and I'm out of there. Yeah. I'm one of those people that makes bounce rates really high on websites. But I found myself reading right to the very bottom of your website. So I really was enthralled by your copyright and your sales. So I naturally clicked through. I thought, what the hey? So I bought your product and it's just been a skyrocket since. So that was really, it was probably born out of desperation for help.
Yeah, I hear a lot of people saying similar things, they start trying things and they're taking action, they're doing all the right things that, everyone says they should be doing, but they're just not really seeing the results. And I know from, my own experience, it took me a good couple of months, if not a couple of years, before I was making, any significant money from, affiliate marketing or my own products. Like it really is a bit of a process to build that up. So, consulting was a good outlet for me, and it was a good leveraging point that I could, get in there, start making some money, and then start investing in some of these other things which, maybe seem a little bit fancier on the surface, but are a lot more work than a lot of people let you on to believe.
Well, absolutely. I think it was the correlation between offline business and online worlds, and I felt like I was the link that could put the two together.
Perfect. Yeah.
That's how I felt, and it was coupled with that was the speed that I could actually implement and take action.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you were telling me about some of your results you were getting, and I'll ask about them in a little bit later. But yeah, I was blown away. I mean, I see the new people coming through now, and being able to leverage off some of the information I've been able to give, and some of the information guys like James have been able to give, and like you guys are getting results in weeks, what took us literally years to develop. So that's really exciting.
Absolutely,
I love seeing that. Let's take a step back though. What was the hardest part, would you say, about actually getting started in the consulting business?
The hardest part, I suppose, starting off with a small amount of enthusiasm, I started to watch a video. I'll tell you a little story. I must say, though, when I first got into the forum, when you changed over to the Nanocast. You remember that when you talked about the password, I might get a problem.
Yeah.
Everything ran really smoothly. So I started to watch the video in no real order, and the videos in your forum site.
Yep.
With no real order. It was all desperation. It was a bundled mess in my head. And then I think I spoke to you about it and said, things aren't really gelling and they're not putting together. They're not coming together. And you set me straight on a few things, which was really awesome when we had that conversation probably about 4 or 5 weeks ago. I was still studying, and a wealth of information at my disposal in your forum site there. But I suppose the hardest part of getting started was action. Having this fear in my head saying, "Ooh, you're not quite ready yet. You don't want to make yourself look like a fool in front of everybody. So just learn a bit more, learn a bit more, learn a bit more." That was the hardest part, is having the balls to get up and go. Yeah. I can give you a brief story of how this happened for me.
Yeah, love it. Love to hear it.
Right, yeah. Once upon a time, I go out walking in the bush really early in the morning because I live up in Queensland. It's hot, so you have to get out really, really like 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And there's nowhere else to be in the great Aussie bush in the morning. Anyway, I was walking across this scrub, and I came across this creek, and I just simply jumped over it. And it was probably a 5 foot, 6 foot, in old money, probably, what's that, 1.8 meters wide,
yeah.
Probably 500 mil deep, half a meter deep. So, I just jumped across it with no hesitation. But my girlfriend, yes, sorry girls, I'm taken. The girlfriend stopped, and she hesitated. And I said, "What are you doing?" And she said, "Well, I can't jump across there, it's too big, it's too deep." And I said, "Don't think about it, step back and jump." And with that, she did it. And at that moment, it just hit me like a slap mullet. It's just like, you just got to take faith, knowing that you can jump across the other side. Maybe you're not see the other side, but you know that it is there. So when you jump, it will present itself to you. And this is like, wow, hello, Rob. So I raced home and had a shower and just got into it. And just from that moment on, Carl, it was just, hold on to your seatbelts, hold on to your hats, because I'm going.
Yeah, I remember you posted some of that little story on your little blog that you've got in our forum, and that obviously connected with a lot of people because you got quite a lot of comments on that, and people not just encouraging you but also being encouraged themselves, and seeing, I guess, a physical manifestation of one of those mental attitudes that people tell you should have. Like, just do it, just take action. But when you actually see it in the real world, it becomes that little bit more clear and more real to you, I suppose.
Yeah, I think so. If you can relate to someone that's on the same page, same level as yourself, and they see that somebody's taken action, somebody's making money, it's not just a load of paperwork and video that means nothing. It's actual real. It kind of helps a lot of people out, and that's part of what I do. I like to help people out.
Cool. And what products and services are you actually offering to your clients to help them out?
Well, because I kind of got myself into internet marketing, I kind of got stuck with the whole internet side of marketing, and deciding to help local business owners to get online was my main goal, which is obviously why I came through to you. So my main products and services is online consulting at the moment, how to help local businesses, small local businesses, get a presence online to start competing with the bigger boys.
Yep.
How I do this was your great idea of the big A4 bright yellow envelope. Get out there, really takes people by surprise. But I've actually developed that a bit further for myself now, where I'll do email marketing campaigns where I'll just personally ring a company up, say who I am, say I've got a fantastic bit of information I want to show you, and then I'll do some small research on their website, on their competitors' websites, and I'm actually recording the screen, and then I'll put that into a file, email it to the client, and they're always just blown away by this. So I guess that's a product I want to develop in my own right, and help clients with that, because then they see that and say, I want this myself. So that kind of naturally happened and occurred. Products, I'm still really developing my own product, but that's on its way.
Excellent.
And it's going to be based around that. So
cool. I love to see my students, taking what I've taught and making it their own, and adapting it to their own personality and their own lifestyle and the way they want to work.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
You're not in a big city by any means, are you? You're in quite a small little town up there in Queensland, is that right?
Yeah, there's only 60,000 of us here.
Wow, yeah. So, and you're working just with local businesses?
Absolutely, just local businesses, and I'm finding every week I'm getting more and more phone calls.
Excellent. That's really cool. So yeah, you can definitely make this work in a small town. You don't have to be, in Sydney with 4 million people or whatever crazy number we've got down here.
Absolutely not.
Cool. So I talked before you've been having some good success, and you just dropped a little hint there. Do you mind telling us a bit about the success you've had over the last, what is it, 5 or 6 weeks now?
Okay, sure. Where can I start? The first client, I suppose. As always, the first, after this big epiphany I had about taking action, I did a 20 envelope send outs that particular week.
Yep.
Set to work, sort of organising all the response, everything else. And I waited for a response, nothing happened. A friend phoned me up, said, "Do you want to go fishing?" And I like, "Well, I'm not doing much, what the heck?" So I went out fishing, and sure enough, when I was away fishing for those couple of hours, the phone rang, and I missed a few calls, but which turned out to be really good in the end because it made me look really busy.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a client, and that client was so desperate for a website because she's in a really highly competitive niche, and that's a big thing. If you can find a really high competitive niche and help somebody, because that's their pain, they just want to stand out. So I saw that straight away, her pain, that she was fighting against other competitors within her sort of town, within her area.
Yeah.
I signed her up she was a 5-figure client, and this is after 3.5 weeks of taking your course on. I'd replaced my income.
Wow, that's awesome, man.
Absolutely.
Congratulations.
Thanks, buddy. I was stoked. I nearly crashed the car on the, when I got the phone call. It was just unbelievable. But since then, it's been roughly one client a week, and I've actually found, because of, I don't know whether it's because of the recession or what, but people are generally a bit harder to convince, harder to help because they don't really know themselves. The money's tighter, they want to advertise, but they can't really afford it. So I've found with the ones that have the websites, it's just to tune their website slightly, but offer them maintenance packages, which no one really does, certainly in this area anyway.
Yeah.
So I offer the maintenance package, which is a slightly lower price line, but it's on a residual, and that's really where all businesses need to be, is a residual income. Mm. So I love the fact that I go to bed at night with my head on the pillow and my bank account's going click, click, click.
Exactly, you've got that magic overnight income that everyone sort of talks about.
Absolutely, yeah. It sounds like there's another house up for rent at your place.
And I mean, that provides immense value to the business as well, because SEO and traffic generation, that's an ongoing process. You don't just build a website and make millions of dollars. You build a website, then you invest time, money, and resources in driving traffic. So as much as it's great for you to have a residual and have that security there coming in each month, it's also perfect for your clients because they need that service as an ongoing thing to get more clients to their website.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's good for the client, and it's also good for me because it gives me a great rapport with the client and the client's friends, and therefore then you start getting referrals in with happy clients, and that's your business.
Perfect. Yeah, I love referrals. They're a huge part of my business as well, and I think if you're ethical in the way you run your business and you do provide a good service, then those kind of things are just going to naturally happen, and you do set yourself up right from the start.
Absolutely.
Cool. So one question I love asking people who are now having success is, what advice would you give to someone who's brand new and either just thinking about getting started with this, or they've just invested in a package and are now kind of figuring out what they should do? What advice would you give to them?
My advice for someone brand new, I think self-belief must rank pretty high up there. That's the first thing, is believe in yourself. I would say a dogged determination, tenacity. Like you said, you saw fire in my eyes.
Yeah.
Having said for myself, it's the person. I have a saying. That's what I'm trying to say. I have a saying: for the person that is willing to put more effort in for the next 5 years, will receive more than anyone else for the rest of their life. And that's kind of a saying that I take to the heart. I'm prepared to put more effort in than anybody else is for the next 5 years, and that will then give me my reward for the rest of my life.
That's awesome. I love that.
The next has to be structure and organisation to the day. So time management's another huge thing for me. Being disciplined and sticking to the task and employing integrity in the moment of choice.
Very cool.
That simply means what's important to you at that specific time of day Do you stick to your time? Do you stick to your time management plan? Or do you find, if somebody phones you up and say, hey Rob, do you want to go fishing? And you analyse, do I want to go fishing or do I want to sit here in the office and have a job? So you structure your day around things that you want to do, and that's why I'm doing this, Kyle, because I want to have fun in my life, not just go from working outside on somebody's roof to coming into an office and sit behind a desk for 8 to 10 hours a day. I'm doing this so I can have fun, so I can have freedom.
Exactly. That's what it's all about. You know, you can make all the money in the world, but if you don't enjoy your life and you're not having fun, then what's the point?
Exactly.
Cool. Well, that's great advice. That's really cool. A few little tips there. Thanks heaps for that. You know me, I'm huge on time management and, you know, focusing on what needs to get done. I think every unsuccessful person I've met in the concession business has been unsuccessful for one main reason, and that's that they haven't put, you know, the time in to actually get out there and make their business happen, and they haven't, you know, had a structured way of doing that. They've, you know, approached things haphazardly, kind of given it a half-assed shot here or there. But, you know, I've spoken to you a couple of times, and, you know, we've PM'd each other quite a bit, and I know that, you know, you put the work in up front, and you're obviously seeing the rewards for that now.
Yeah, that's another bit of advice I give anybody that's starting out. Patience is a virtue, because it is going to happen if you keep going and keep going and keep going. There's only one road that you're going to go down, and that's success.
Awesome. All right, Rob, mate, thanks heaps for this interview. It was great for me. I learned a little bit about you I didn't know, and I can see more clearly now why you've had such quick success. So I wish you all the best, and I'm sure I'll see you around the forum. You're going to have more questions, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Thanks, Kyle.
Awesome. Thanks, mate.